Welcome to Hug Nation Live. I feel like I'm barely live. Alive. You know what? Let's not make that as a song. Good morning. We are live right now with an opportunity to connect and share gratitude. I just woke up. What, you say? How could you possibly have attained that well coiffed appearance? Well, to be honest, this is bedhead. I'm a little slow and sleepy right now, but I'm here and I am going to lean into the core of Hug Nation Live, which is as a practice, not a performance. It is a place to share gratitude. It is a place to remind ourselves who we want to be today. And it is participatory. Okay, now that I'm here and I'm feeling just a little better, I'll try to sing a song that is got dry wet. Dry wit. That's not wetter. My brain ain't cooperating, ain't being so good. And I'm worried I won't be able to be funny like I should. But if I just be the one that is truthful, I hope that your judgments won't be ruthful, which is like ruthless, but more of it. And that's the way that it's gonna get, because this song is the best I can do. And I hope that I can lean on you. So good morning. What are you grateful for? I mean, part of me was like, yeah, I'm just going to do no coffee today. No. But then I wake up 5 minutes ago and I get in this panic. And so now I'm chugging coffee, which biologically is not even going to be helping me until we're done broadcasting. Maybe it's psychological. Oh. I am grateful. I'm grateful for my hair. I'm grateful for this exploration of the wild man look. Lisa just told me as we woke up this morning, a good friend of hers who saw me at choir practice last night was like, John's really got that wild man look going. What do you mean? What do you mean? This is what they call well manicured in some circles. We're watching the Gilded Age. I think in 1890, I would be dapper. No, actually, I would have to have a short haircut and then the big beard. That would make me dapper. Good morning, Brent. Good morning, Juan. Good morning, High Noon. High Noon says, so grateful for the opportunity to be here now with you beautiful beans. I'm grateful that I got to see my mom last night at choir practice, give her a long hug, and talk to her a little bit about plans to go to Colorado. Today I have to book flights if I'm going to go to Colorado for the memorial for my uncle, which I'd like to do, and trying to figure out if Lisa can join me. I'm trying to. I'm grateful for the relationship I have with Lisa, where I can speak more honestly than I ever have. The old version of myself knowing how busy Lisa is would really I wouldn't ask her to come, and I wouldn't have said anything that would have made her feel pressure to come. But I did tell her, said, you know, I would like you to go. If all things were even, if I'm not taking anything else into account, I would like to go with you and bring you to this family event because you are family. I would like to be able to introduce you to people, relatives, uncles, aunts, cousins, as my partner. This is, and so I'm grateful for that. I have that feeling for the first time in my life. One, that I feel that I have a partner that I want to be there for the reason of that she is family. We aren't married yet. I'm wearing my engagement ring, but there, this is going to be all these people. At least it's going to be their family. In fact, the last message that my Uncle Jim sent me was, I regret not being able to meet and celebrate Lisa. So I think that put a little bit of a push in me. But I'm grateful that I have her and I have that feeling. And I'm grateful that I know in any crowd or group of people, I'm proud to introduce her and proud to know that if she just is herself, people will think higher of me because she's my partner. Heinen says, "You're steezy," which is style plus ease, John. Thank you. Juan says, "I'm grateful for bean juice, aka coffee." I'm gulping it right now. Brent says, "Grateful for a break in the rain for a sunny bike ride." Sweet. I'm grateful for cooler weather. Lisa this morning goes, "It's sweater weather." Putting on her first sweater of the year. I do like sweater weather because I like one. I mean, especially with the way my hair is right now, I like to be able to wear a beanie. And I mean, sure, the beard's still wild, but I think this is a lot more under the radar than that fro that I have very little control over. I'm grateful for choir practice last night. Not because I enjoyed it. It was my hardest in a long time. In fact, I didn't stay the whole time. And I struggled. I just 2 days ago, I did this whole podcast recording with Lisa talking about choir, talking about embracing the discomfort. I did 2 podcasts. I also did a podcast with Betsy, a Stay Sparked episode that I think we'll go live this week. That was about beginner's mind and how going to choir has been this huge practice of being in discomfort. But yesterday, I had like a perfect storm of everything was making it tough for me. Um, I I've been having this like skin itchiness for years, and it was really bad this afternoon under my beard, and so it makes me irritable. And then I put a bunch of lotion, and I made myself a steak yesterday. I got something between my teeth that was super painful, and then after trying to get it out, I wasn't sure if I if it just was still in there or if I damaged my gums so much during trying to get it out. So I'm at choir and my my tooth is just hurting, just aching. And then I made a mistake in singing because I'm such a novice. And even Lisa has been doing some like ski singing classes for the people in the choir that I have not been going to. And the more I think about it, like our concert is 80 minutes with a dress rehearsal the night before and practicing for hours before. So it's like hours and hours of singing. And last night, because of my unskilled, unexperienced singing, I sang incorrectly during one of our first songs where we have these there's this one part where the baritones we just we sing I am a bridge, I will be a bridge, I am a bridge. And sometimes I'm a little bit low and I'm like, I am a bridge, I will be a bridge, I am a bridge. And the low note when I'm trying to give volume, I am. It's it, and we hold that while the other parts of the chorus do other verses and other sounds. And the correct way to do it is to do it more nasally. So it's not the I am. It's I am a bridge. Just let it be here and not I am. I am. I am. And I was doing it wrong on repeat, on repeat, on repeat, on repeat. And after the song, my throat felt raw. And this was like song 2 of, a 2-hour practice. And, like, after that, like, it was hard to sing at all. And it was hard to get the feeling of my voice out enough that I could feel I'm joining the choir. So I was, like, barely singing and kind of voicing, like, mouthing the words. So that combined with the tooth hurt, I was and then I even convinced myself, like, "You know what? I live 10 minutes away. I'm gonna drive 10 minutes, try to floss out this pain and see if I can drive back," but I had no luck when I flossed home, so I did something else that I'll share in just a second. Good morning, Gerbot. High Noon says, "I am so grateful for seeing a little bit of you and Lisa's relationship. It's so inspirational to me. I can't wait for you to see the episode that I recorded with her. That probably will go up early next week. No, gotta be pretty soon because they're supposed to come out before the choir season. But uh, sh- because we talk a lot about the things in our relationship that have been making it work so well. I I think if you're curious as to what aspects, like a lot of our relationship is luck and just being blessed and being listening to divine guidance. But there's other things that we elements of personal work we've done and elements of practices we do together, and we share a lot of that. I think it's good. She I can't wait. I'm so lucky. So high on my list of gratitude is Lisa. She's my favorite person by far. I just so um Janet says, "Good morning. I'm grateful for my body and the wonder of science. I'm also grateful for the power of deep breath." I almost was wore I've been doing this nose strip, not the strips, like the plastic one. You put the magnet stickers, and then the plastic pulls your nose, and it totally works for me. I've been doing it every night. I listened to a Tim Ferriss podcast yesterday about breath, and I'm really inspired to be less of a mouth breather. Can you see how my no as I breathe, my nose goes in and out. But the breath or the sticker things hold it so I have a much easier time breathing. So I didn't I the vanity beat me and I didn't wear it this morning, but I've been wearing it every night with my bike guard. So I'm grateful for the power of breath too, and this wondrous body. Thank you for that reminder, Janet. Heine says, I hear you and see you, John. I see that ups and downs are benefits and drawbacks with much of my life. When I feel failure deep in my heart without seeing the great teacher in it, it hits me hard. And Christina, good morning, Christina, says, it sounded like it was just one of those days where things go wrong, but good for you to notice it and still find the good after. Well, and guess this. This is another of me doing a little gratitude practice and a little making lemonade practice or finding the silver lining or, I drove home. I couldn't get my tooth feeling better. So rather than drive back just for the end of practice, I want to go to the end because I want to help break down things, help Lisa carry things to a car, and give my mom another hug because my mom was there. But we did have a really good pre-choir hug. So instead, earlier in the day, I had bought some chicken to barbecue, and I asked Lisa if she had time before choir for me to make her dinner, and she said no. So I was thinking, and a few things had gone wrong or were difficult for her. Like right before practice, she said, I sent a message out to everybody to come early, and I would have chocolate, and I'm running behind. And so I'm like, I'll go get it. So I this is a good example of sometimes asking for help gives the other person the opportunity to gift. So I'm like, great. I would love to add in my list of things I did today. I got the opportunity to gift to Lisa and run this errand for her. So I went and got chocolate and brought it. And so I knew that she had been time pressured and not a chance to eat. So I stayed home. I didn't go back to practice. And I cooked her a candlelight dinner. So I've never done this before. So when she came home, there was flowers on the table, a candle, her meal. I made barbecued chicken strips over a fresh salad. I was waiting for, and she likes these. What are they called? They're they're Truvia drinks. No, anyway, I put a little soda of hers, non-sugar soda, in a wine glass and channeled my frustration and body discomfort and into like, I want to do something nice for someone else. And it was funny though, because our practice ends at 8:45 and I couldn't remember what time she normally gets home. And so I was preparing for 9:15 and she got home more like 9:45. And there was a moment when I was sitting there looking at the table with, you know, luckily it was a salad, so it wasn't like food wasn't getting cold. But like, I'm worrying like, did I barbecue the chicken too early? And I'm looking at this candlelit table with flowers, and I was getting anxious about when she was going to get here, or like, should I have called her and told her? Because maybe what if she went out with people afterwards because she was so hungry to get food? And I had this visual of like a million movies where the husband comes in tired or goes to the bar after work and comes home and to the wife who's sitting in front of the meal that's been sitting on the table for hours, and her mom like, "You forgot our anniversary," or "You said you'd be home for dinner," I was like, and I had this like brief moment of like, did she go out to get dinner without me? And luckily was able to see that thought and be like, you're you're being very silly. But when she walked in the door, she was holding sushi because she did grab food before the meal, her practice, just a little bit. So she was still, as soon as she saw what I did, she was so happy and so touched. And I felt good. I felt, that joy of gifting. And we had a really nice meal. And we both got to share the struggles of our day. But as we shared the struggle, we also shared about our gratitude and the different things that, and noticing how certain things that are obstacles, and which ones have been hard to let go of, and trying to kind of help one another um, acknowledge we would acknowledge one another's difficulties and strugglings and sufferings, and also try to soothe, or we don't really problem solve, but did try to find ways to minimize the magnitude of discomfort. And some of that is through gratitude. You know, I hit Lisa's car a month ago. Not major, just super minor. But I have not been too freaked out about it. And I rarely bug myself about it. I'm so quickly go to gratitude. I'm like, I love my car. I don't, I have no rational pride about a car with no scratches. It's like, I don't want that. I don't need that. So when I start to have a story of like, "You're so stupid, I can't believe you did that," I go, I can very quickly be like, "Why think that when a much bigger thought for me is I love my car. It's great. I've never had a car so nice." Pierre, good morning. Pierre says, "Grateful for you and the break from the other content." Love you, Pierre. Gearbot says, "Grateful for disposable floss picks that have upped my oral hygiene game and my ex who introduced me to them. Previously, I would rarely floss because it was hard to do barehanded." Those things are one of the areas that I am totally acceptable with single-use plastic. I think that's what you're talking about, one of the little plastic single-use flossers. They're so much easier to use. Yeah. I Although now I think I'm gonna put some in my car because I was sitting there in choir practice thinking, I I would pay $100 right now for some floss. Another single-use thing I use I'm less okay with, but there's certain places I go that they have a Keurig machine, and so I do Keurig coffee. I could just see I'm gonna be at the pearly gates of heaven. I mean, as if I believed in pearly gates. And they're gonna go, let's see, that's, over the course of your life, you used about, ooh, it's like 600 Keurig cups and 200 flossers? I mean, the 200 flossers is acceptable, but you should be flossing more than that. So that's actually the negative. You're losing points for not flossing enough, not so much the single-use plastic. High Noon says, Thanks, Gerbod. It's been so hard on myself most of my life. Y'all are helping me see things how my heart and mind has known for a long time. I'm truly trying. We all are. It's not the will, it's skills. Okay, now I really want you to listen to the what that Lisa and I talked about. We did this whole thing about loving someone, and she this is the part where she asked me questions that helped me articulate things about myself in a different way that helped me to uh, see myself. Like, you know, I sometimes display a healthy self-love. I made a joke of, like, I was complimenting Lisa, and I said, people say that, you should be with someone that inspires you to be better, to be a better person, and which is hard for me because I already am so awesome. And, but then we were talking about how, what I don't love this Lisa at her best. I love this human process of Lisa. I love this human that is a a a constantly changing, growing, learning, stumbling, forgetting. I love the parts of her that get frustrated. I love the parts of her that doubt herself. I love the parts of her that work so hard to grow and to improve. All of it. So there's no way she can't do anything that will diminish my love for her because she cannot fail. I love the process, the whole thing. And and I can do that because I've in at most times I love that about myself. I use the term humaning all the time. Like that is such a critical part of being able to be in harmony with other humans of the world. The recognition that every single person is in process and is a constantly changing entity that sometimes is strong and balanced and confident and resourced, and sometimes is lost and scared and afraid, and sometimes is totally ruled by trauma patterns, and sometimes is led by divine strength. And sometimes I am so fucking wise. Sometimes I am a vessel for wisdom and love that is way beyond and way deeper than the human being that has been alive in a body for 54 years. And sometimes I am a puppet to the traumas of my youth. And I am much quicker to forgive myself when the less favorable parts of myself are in control and take over and say things and do things and judge myself and judge others because I quicker and quicker can recognize that that's just a script on top of my truth. That's just a reaction of chemicals flowing through my brain, some old part of myself. And if I can love and trust that that is all part of a beautiful package and it's normal, then as I start to be able to distance myself from those parts, I can put the versions of myself that are more aligned with my higher self back in the driver's seat, and then work on repairing the things that are maybe rattled. I can say to the person, I was feeling scared and defensive yesterday, and I didn't mean what I said, or I said a thing with a degree of bitterness that had nothing to do with anything you did, and I apologize. And if I know that about myself, that means I can project that on everyone else, and I can be forgiving and understanding. Now, for it to work really effectively, the other person on the other side has to have that same ability so that they can also recognize when they stumble and then repair, and they can genuinely be receptive and forgiving and understanding when you have the strength to confess. Confess feels too strong. To um, observe and share what you were able to witness about your less than ideal actions of the past. And that's a foundational part of my relationship with Lisa. You know, if we see one another not at our best, it's like we have compassion. It's like, you know, I was gonna say it's like when a child, but I remember like so many of us do not have experience. Like our a very normal desire of a parent is to, they see a kid acting out. They see their kid angry or crying out, and they try to fix it or soothe it. And subconsciously, we are being taught that those are wrong or those are problematic, or maybe even you can love can be withdrawn if you demonstrate behaviors that are governed by big emotion. And so a lot of us have these fears and judgments, and so we hide, or we don't want to face it, or we judge it in others. We use this evidence of someone being less than. But I know a lot of parents now that are, with so much more knowledge about what it is to be human, they're able to witness a child in a behavior and support it. I haven't heard all of it yet, but in Lisa's interview with Alexis, that will be coming out in a few days, Alexis is raising an incredible 4-year-old girl. And she said, like, when uh, when the little girl is like angry and tantruming, you know, Alexis will say, "Get it out, yeah. What? Tell me more about this. What are you feeling? Yeah, go for it." I'm paraphrasing, but kind of like, instead of being met with, "This isn't a big deal. Calm down," you know. And so the recipient of that type of parenting has a very different relationship with bad emotions. Just as I'm learning to have a different relationship with bad emotions in myself, bad, air quoting if you're listening to this, and and my partner, being down or depressed or self-judgmental, or um, these are these are not evidence of any sort of weakness or lack of evolution. These are evidence of being a human being. The evolution is in the ability to recognize it as you move through it, and to observe, and then do evaluation, inquiry on the thoughts you are having, on the reactions you are having, and take them out of your definition of who you are into just simply one of the aspects of how the impossibly perfect version of you gets expressed when things certain stimuli gets triggered. If you can repair that, then and you in a relationship with another person who gets that's it's okay, then you can help each other heal in dramatic ways. Good morning, Mingle. I love you too. And you, what a surprising screen name. Thanks for being here, you. You says, I'm grateful for the day, trying to remember that we're not obligated to anything, but choose to be gracious for it. Love to you this morning. Thank you. And I'll be honest, I started this broadcast thinking this is going to be a nightmare. I can barely stay awake. I woke up 10 minutes before 9, took off my nose tape stuff, threw a hat on, wearing what I slept in. And I appreciate your patience and understanding and this environment of acceptance. I also talked about that a lot in the interview too, about how, you know, from the early days of living in a webcam house, I've done a lot of work practicing genuine truth and authenticity. And if I notice that there's something that I'm embarrassed about or ashamed of, I try to bring it into the light because of all the things that I just said. Like, my worth is not dependent on me never being depressed or always being wise or always being cheerful. I like those versions of myself. I think they're far more charming. But if I have a desire or instinct to hide it, if I notice that instinct, I very quickly want to try to share so that it is not something I'm hiding, afraid of. It's not a secret. It's another awareness of truth. And that is liberation. Hello, Eleanor. Oh, so nice to connect with you. Eleanor says, grateful to be recovering from cancer and a world of possibilities opening up. That makes me very happy to hear. Sending you so much love. You says, heaven shouldn't need fences. Amen. Heinen says, this is one reason I keep coming back to this Love Ambassador Circle. So grateful for finding this place and time. I'm glad that it is a place that you feel safe and can share with us. Blessed day to you, you. Um, I can't remember if I said this, but I got a comment this week. It was a response to an older Instagram post where I was talking to people and promoting my Heart-Centered Men gathering. And someone sent me this long message. It was like, hey, I don't mean any offense, but I don't think you have anything to teach me. And then it kind of ended with like, I'm out here working and being a man. And it was it was a combination tone of like, it's like, I don't want to be mean. You don't have very many comments here, and I don't want to just kick you while you're down, but I don't think you have anything to teach me. And I was like, Agreed. Agreed. I I that's kind of my stance lately is I don't have anything to teach. I am trying to make containers, establish a container of safety and trust, and then by us just allowing ourselves to speak and be genuine and truthful and share our experiences, not trying to craft it in a way that we're the winner of the story, we're the good guy, and but sharing the things that have been hard or the goodness in something that should be bad. When my men's group was talking about our aging and dying of our fathers, there was a person that I'd known for a long time that I they shared the beautiful experience of the very challenging death of their father. And that too is something that is hard to just bring up. And so in a safe container, sharing the the gratitude for of connecting to someone in this that to share goodness in a badness. Sometimes without the container, sometimes we are expected to complain, or have a certain narrative about our lives or our experiences. I have yet to be overwhelmed with grief about my uncle's passing this week. And there's a part of me that feels like, don't say that out loud. But I have to keep trusting that the truth has value. I mean, I've had sadness, and I have sadness thinking about my cousins and my mom and my uncle who are losing someone that is such a big part of their life. But have been so impressed and inspired by the way he died, the choices he made, the dignity and the communications that he did as part of his final act of service, that I have this so many warm, positive feelings about. I'm so grateful for what he was in my life and so grateful for what he's gifted his family in death. So that's my truth. So I trust that that has value. Anyone else have any gratitude they want to share? Wow. I think I've talked pretty slowly today. I think if I took look at this recording, I would drop it into Adobe Premiere and say remove pauses. So thanks for your patience with my slow talking. It's less than a week away from the choir performance. A week from yesterday, Tuesday night. Wait, yeah, Tuesday night in San Diego, and then the week after on Wednesday in Monterey. I gotta write notes on myself like don't sing the low notes with your throat because you're gonna be bummed. Anyone else have anything they would like to share that they're grateful for? I'll say, oh, I should show you the trailer to the Rabbitour porn movie, but only the first half of it is safe for work. I will put it in the appropriate clip up online soon. Heinian says, pauses are so beautiful and more the natural way of the breath. You know, I thanks for saying that. We live in a world, and I am guilty of this, where, I listen to podcasts on, not podcast general. It depends on the podcast, but like I listen to audiobooks on 1.25 speed, sometimes 1.5, depending on the narrator. And it takes, it's a different experience to be present enough and being slow enough that the pace that I'm speaking at today can be enjoyable or non frustrating, or just, it's, and as I've been editing Lisa's podcast, I've, you know, I've had to kind of weigh in, like, here are two people in calm states. Their nervous systems are calm, and they are having a slow conversation about meditation, and they're pondering things, and they're sharing deep thoughts. Now, everything about modern media would say, tighten that shit up, because people don't want to listen. If you know, uh, tighten it up. But there's also the value in just feeling the resonant peace of a slow pace. And I'm definitely guilty of being impatient. Gerbot says, I'm a 1.5xer myself, mostly. And Heinian says, let's normalize the pause. And it's tough because, like, to go pause by pause and decide if you're going to remove them all. But what I did for the one with Lisa and I is I auto took them out, and then I put some back in where I felt like it took away from the energy of our conversation. And I left most of hers because for some reason my pauses bothered me more than hers. That's interesting. Like, I would take out some of my ums, or sometimes I have a tendency, I just did it. Sometimes I have a tendency, I will start a thought with a couple words and then I restart a sentence. Or I'll say, and it's the most important thing that we got to do is do this. And so I would go back, go, I think I'm going to take out the and it's, because it's my equivalent of saying, my mind is figuring out where it's going. And I say words so that the pauses aren't too long. And some of those words are unnecessary. Thanks for your patience with my pauses. In fact, oh my gosh, I've got another episode that I recorded with. Oh, something happened. Recorded. My speaker's connected to my Bluetooth. What? Oh my gosh. Well, hopefully the audio is still coming through. Let me check my microphone. Okay, that's still working. Power of the Pause is a Stay Sparked episode I just recorded with Betsy. So clearly there are themes going on in my life. Heinian says, I think my 45-minute meditation each morning has been slowing down my day-to-day moments. I've been 2x for way too long. You remind me, I had a moment yesterday that I'm going to try to take to heart and embody more. I was running around. I kind of had to go pee, doing stuff, and I was in the bathroom doing one thing. And rather than just sit and pee, which I generally sit to pee, I live with a woman, and so rather than just sit down and take a pee, I subconsciously was like, I don't have my phone on me. I'll pee when I have my phone. And I was like, how long do you think that is gonna be? Like, it's gonna be a 20-second process? You can't sit in stillness and quiet for 20 seconds? And so I sat down and I peed and I just kinda meditated and got centered on some stillness as I was doing a basic bodily function, and it was helpful. Just a 20-second pause, but the whoa awareness was how rarely I do that. How often, as I'm doing one thing and it's exporting and it's going to take a minute, I'm to a next thing. As I am boiling water, I feel everything. I don't just say, oh, I've got a minute to wait. And I'm going to really try to do that more. So thanks for sticking around or dropping in and sharing your gratitude. I had a lot more to say and think today than I expected. Thank you for being part of the constellation of energy that prompted all that. So wherever you are, let's hug ourselves. Hug me. I'll hug you. We'll feel connected, reminding ourselves that the the process of being us is what is so lovable. Not us at our best, not our best version, not our facade. All of it. This super complicated, multi-layered, infinitely layered being is what is so beautiful and so miraculous. And no part of it detracts from the value. In fact, every hidden layer is cheapens the cheapens the beauty of the whole. So let's try to do our best to love all of it, to move anything that's in the darkness into the light, to find places, circles, containers like this or others where you can feel safe revealing your truth, taking the power away from any thought that puts us on the defensive. Let's be grateful for one another and our intersecting lives as we take a deep breath in and squeeze. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all of us here, thanks for being here. Love you. Look forward to seeing you next, Sean. Thanks, High Noon. Thanks, Gearbot. I missed this. Christina saying, grateful to work for myself and be able to build pauses and rest when needed and trust I'll be energized to continue on without too many concessions. Thanks for sharing that. Enjoy this day. Happy Hump Day.